Folks, we have a more serious problem than most of us imagined. And it is over this Samson Cherargei versus Murkomen problem or controversy. Now we even have some Kenyans who still believe that what is going on here is play acting. Well, on my show today, I have unearthed brand new information that is going to shock most of us to their bones. Bottom line, this thing is very serious, much more serious than anybody thinks. And imagine, we had all the clues, everything has been staring at our face to suggest to us, hii kitu ni serious. Okay? Now for starters, there are other people behind Senator Samson Cherargei. He is just the face of this rebellion, because I don't think I can call it by any other name. This is a direct rebellion and challenge on William Ruto. That is what it really is. Now stay with me until the very end, and I'll be able to give you some of the suspected names, where all this manenos is coming from, okay, so that we understand this clearer. The other very important thing to understand here is the possible motive. Indeed, in any mystery, motive is key. Now, most Kenyans believe that it is a very simple story. Yeah, and the story goes like this. Some people, Cherargei and company, were denied something, either a contract or some share in some deal, you know exactly what I mean, etc., etc. And therefore this is a revenge mission. Now that is putting it very simply. It is much more complicated than that, as we shall find out shortly. Now the wise thing to do when you're dealing with a community, this is not tribalism. Everybody comes from somewhere, and every village on earth has a tradition. Their people behave in a certain way, because they come from that area, because of the history of that area. Indeed, for you to understand anybody, normally the first question you ask them is, where do you come from? And it's nothing to do with tribalism. It is more to do with their origins and the history of that place they have originated from. And in this issue of Samson Cherargei, it will be impossible to understand the tactics being used, which I'd call Kamikaze tactics. They're suicide tactics. Okay, Kamikaze comes from the Second World War. The small boys who are used as Japanese suicide pilots, to bomb a place, and then the aircraft would just crash land there and explode. Of course, taking with it the pilot of that particular aircraft. That is where the word kamikaze comes from. This Cherargei move is a kamikaze move. Indeed, as somebody pointed out in the comments area. What do you mean by that? Simply put, it means that at the end of this operation, at the end of this controversy, even Samson Cherargei himself may not survive politically, may not survive in his leadership position, may not survive in the UDA party. That is really what it means. But it also means that the people being targeted by Cherargei will also not survive. Kamikaze move. Or in other words, a suicide mission where you don't survive yourself, and more importantly, your enemy or the people you're targeting do not survive. That is the whole idea. And of course, that is very scary. Terrifying, indeed. Don't worry if you're still lost. As you may well know in the tradition of this channel, I will break it all down. Till it cannot be broken down anymore. Till it becomes grade 2, so that we all understand completely what is going on here. Okay? But before we do that, please allow me to introduce our sponsors for today's show. Now, the Christmas holidays are just around the corner, and as is the habit of Kenyans, the whole of Nairobi will move to Mombasa for the holidays. That is how it has always been, since anybody can remember. That includes the wakubwa, wale si wakubwa sana, and ordinary Kenyans. They'll all be flocking in Mombasa. The whole of Kenya, literally, will be in Mombasa. Those who matter in Kenya and those who don't matter. The whole lot. Now, sponsors today, Nightingale Apartments along Serena Road in the Shanzu area, would be the ideal place for you to think of if you're going down to the coast for your holidays. These are very beautiful one-bedroomed apartments in a very quiet, serene environment. You know, sometimes you go down for holidays somewhere and there's a lot of noise around. You won't find that at the Nightingale Apartments. And it is also situated right next to some very big boys in terms of hotels and accommodation. The Serena Beach Resort, Pride in Flamingo Resort and Spa, Mombasa Continental Resort, they're all around that area within walking distance. And the beach from Nightingale is a lazy 5 minutes away. So you'll have access to the beach, because going to Mombasa and failing to go to the beach, that would not be understandable. So the beach is very close by. And despite the very affordable rates, Nightingale has very high standards. I believe, as you can see from the photographs on your screens right now, it's a classy, comfortable, beautiful place to spend your Christmas holiday. Now, the very reasonable rate you'll get will be bed and breakfast, but there is a restaurant within the premises where you can enjoy all your meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc., etc. Of course, which are a very important part of any holiday. And there's also the option of cooking for yourself, because all the facilities to do so are available in the gorgeous one-bedroom apartments. And so I suggest, if you're going down to the coast, you give them a call right away. So use that number you see on your screens. We are very grateful for their sponsorship. It goes a long way in supporting this channel. And this is yet another Kumekucha. Somebody who has been on this channel for years. Right. Back to this very controversial topic we have to cover today. Now, it is key that we understand the Nandi are warriors, and they have a long tradition of being warriors. And their approach to politics is exactly the same as their approach to war. There's no difference. And it is also important to understand the temperament of the Nandi people. They're very short-tempered. And in many instances, once they've made a decision, that's it. They'll not go back on it. They will push forward no matter what. That is very important, to be able to predict what is going to unfold in this current Cherargei versus Kipchumba battle, which is really a Cherargei versus the Ruto administration battle. Cherargei and the people behind him. So, what is the main bone of contention here? The main bone of contention, the whole issue here, is a group of people from the Nandi community were treated badly. They were treated unfairly. At least that is how they look at it. They made some certain contributions, very key, vital contributions, in making William Samoei Ruto president. And therefore, their place at the high table, at a certain high level, should be guaranteed. That is how they're looking at it. Indeed, the people are closest to the president, the people around the president, enjoying the power, prestige, and other things that come with the presidency in a country called Kenya did not contribute as much as this group of people who have been shoved aside, ignored in this whole saga. I'm trying to pick my words very carefully because I'm afraid there's some information I can still not give you. But I'm sure you'll be able to read between the lines if you follow closely. And therefore the decision has been made, to put it in a Kenyan way, kama ni mbaya ni mbaya. And I can tell you this, if there's going to be a peace meeting to finish this maneno, the other side, Kipchumba Murkomen's side, will have to cede a lot of ground for the fury of the Cherargei camp to be cooled down. Because it is fury that is working here. And the fury of the Nandi community is legendary. Now I know there are many people who are listening into this and they're wondering, Kumbe Chris is a tribalist. He keeps on saying this is not tribalism, and yet this is tribalism. Let me tell you a brief story, indeed from my own community, illustrating and emphasizing the fact that we can never escape where we come from. There's some certain things even spiritually that bind us to where we came from. And this thing about my community is very controversial. I know many from the community, my father's community, will be upset, but it is the truth. And I believe it is the best way of illustrating what I am saying and how serious I am with this issue. It is widely believed, and we have seen many instances where the ladies from the Kamba community, the community where my father hailed from, tend to be very tempted to be unfaithful in their marriages. They like going out of their marriages. You're a woman, you're already married, but you have boyfriends on the side, or you have a boyfriend. Even the many women of character from this community will find that many times in their lives they're overwhelmed with the temptation of doing this evil thing. Well, it comes from the past of the Kamba community, and I'll explain why and how. You see, in the old days, before a Kamba woman got married, she would be briefed by her aunties and even by her mother to ensure that she had this golden rule planted in her head. And what was this golden rule? To ensure that within her marriage, she at least got one child who was not the biological father of her husband. Reason? So that in case tragedy came to that family, at least one of her children would survive. What tragedy am I talking about? There is a Kamba oath called Kidhitu. Now the way it works is, if for instance somebody steals something somewhere, a car is stolen somewhere, something happens somewhere, there's a dispute somewhere which needs you to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, you will be challenged as an individual to take the Kidhitu oath. And if you are lying and you have taken the oath, disaster will come to your family. It will start with a chicken dying, according to those old beliefs, and then people will start dying. And at the end of the day, the whole family will be wiped out. And in those days, there were many cases of this oath where families had been wiped out. It is something the people feared, but still people told lies. Humans. Can you believe it? People still told lies, even when they knew the consequences. Now it is this custom from the old days, which is of course still in the DNA of Kamba ladies, that in my opinion has contributed the most to this problem we have talked about, of many ladies from the community being unfaithful. Now of course spiritually it is a very easy problem to deal with, especially if you're a Christian and you believe in Almighty God. However, you have to identify a problem, appreciate how the problem started, understand it before you can solve it. And of course many people brush off this story. They're not if tales. You remember as a money, they're not relevant anymore. That's the attitude of most people. So in many instances, they find themselves in this problem, which they don't seem to have control over what happens. Your origins are very important. You can never run away from them. When you fully understand that, you'll be able to appreciate the fact that the Nandi community in their long history have gotten involved in many which are really suicide battles. But the important thing is that their enemy is finished. And one classic example, of course, is the fight between the Nandi and the British when they were building the railway. And the railway reached that point where it had to pass through Nandi country. The Nandi kept the British at bay with all their guns, their powerful cannons, for 11 long years. And of course that was a suicide battle. But still they did not fear to go into it, knowing very well the possible consequences. That is important to understand the current political problem we are talking about here. Now, there is strong suspicion that leading lights within the Nandi community are fully behind Senator Cherargei. And I'm talking of people like the former governor of Uasin Gishu, Jackson Mandago. You'll of course be aware that Mandago still has a case in court where he's facing some very serious charges related to the scholarship saga, where many parents lost a lot of money. Now here is the bone of contention. According to some of my sources, some of the people involved in this scandal have not been prosecuted. Indeed, they have been protected. And there are those in the community who are not happy about this. Let me just leave it there. But I believe you have now understood that this Cherargei problem is not going away anytime soon. And indeed, in my opinion, it is a major threat to the presidency of William Samoei Ruto. For now, please allow me to give you a very important heads up. At least this information will prove to be valuable to some of us on this channel. This channel reaches a very unique audience. Kenyans in the diaspora, older Kenyans. You know, the channels reach a lot of young people. Yeah, and unfortunately, most young people don't have much purchasing power. But the purchasing power in the views on this channel are huge. And we have proved that. Somebody advertised some land the other day in Naivasha. Within hours of that video going up, it was sold. And we're talking about a double-digit million. And therefore, if you have a product or service that you need to promote, I think you should seriously consider sponsoring a Kumekucha video. Yeah, that means that you get a mention in one of my videos and a lot more to let others know what you're doing. And I'm sure a lot of your potential clients always tune in very regularly to this channel. And therefore it is a fabulous, amazing opportunity for you to reach your audience very cheaply and very effectively. Kindly check in the description area of this video for more details. And then you can also send me an email on that email address you see on your screens right now, or even call directly on that number for more information, because we can't do this for everybody and we do not produce that many videos. Yeah, therefore I suggest that you take action immediately so that you don't lose this golden opportunity. Now there's one of us, a subscriber, who has come up with a very interesting offer. They're going to sponsor 2 people to take advantage of our latest offer. All you have to do is pay half the price and they'll pay the other half for you. Of course, it is on a first come, first served basis. So please rush. But meanwhile, the rest of us can take advantage of our current offer. Now, I've just released weekly intelligence briefings number 115. 116 will be out in the next few hours. Yeah. And there's a very good opportunity of getting hold of my weekly intelligence briefings by taking full advantage of our latest offer on that book, audiobook, The Ruto Kenyans Will Never Know. There is a unique opportunity over the next 24 hours to do so. If you feel that you need this very important content and your budget doesn't quite cut it to enable you to get your hands on it, for the next 24 hours, you can name your price. Lakini usinifinye sana, and for that reason the limit will be 50. Yeah, the first 50 to send me an email on that email address you see on your screens right now, youmissthis@gmail.com, naming your price. And then guess what? I will also throw in another valuable Kumekucha book. You can choose for yourself, or you can allow me to choose for you. The most liked of my other ebooks, of course, is Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency, How Mutula Kilonzo Sr. was murdered. Yeah. And then there's another one called The President's Lovers. Now that last one of you took it in recently, and they were delighted, very excited about it. And yes, it talks about a Kenyan president. And so, you have this very exciting opportunity. Please take full advantage of it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.